What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. With the new Onslaught activity releasing next week, players will need loadouts and builds that are strong in both team support and crowd control capabilities. And with that in mind, we are checking out one of my absolute favorite Warlock Stasis builds, featuring the Osmiomancy. This has always been an extremely powerful build that's great at keeping enemies contained and frozen with its Bleak Watcher turrets. We've taken the same old formula that's been used with the Osmiomancy for several seasons now, and we've added a Frankenstein-style twist to give this Stasis Warlock much more potency. We've added in several Strand components to give us a unique mix of both of these energies. We've also got a ton of new artifact mods that make this hybrid build quite formidable at any level of difficulty. I've taken this build into Master Law sectors, Grandmaster Nightfalls, and Legendary campaign missions, and it's performed beautifully, which leaves me with no doubts that this build will dominate in those 50 waves of Onslaught. The Osmiomancy comes with the intrinsic trait called Fervid Cold Snap, which grants an extra cold snap charge. This also gives those cold snaps better tracking capabilities, allowing them to travel 35% further, and once they hit a target, you'll get an instant surge of grenade energy. You'll gain between 7% energy on low-ranking enemies, and as much as 50% bonus energy off of higher-ranking enemies. With a second charge and bonus ability regen, you'll have so many of these cold snap grenades to keep everything frozen, and because of how we've got this build set up now, you'll be able to deal so much extra damage. One of the ways that we're incorporating Strand energies into this build is by using the Quicksilver Storm, and the reason that we're choosing this exotic is because of its grenade launcher mode. When using the Whisper of Rending aspect, we'll deal 100% bonus damage to frozen enemies with our primary weapons, and this includes the Quicksilver Storm's grenade launcher mode. These grenades are pretty easy to get charged up. All you need to do is deal sustained damage with the Quicksilver Storm. Once you've got a few grenades charged up, get your enemies frozen with those cold snaps, and then finish them off with the Quicksilver's grenades. Another benefit to running the Quicksilver is that we'll generate a tangle whenever defeating enemies with the grenade launcher mode. We won't be able to get the same benefits out of those tangles as we would by being on a Strand build, but we'll still be able to hurl them at our enemies, causing extra damage. The Quicksilver Storm isn't always going to be a viable option. There are times where we utilize the Wish-Keeper Exotic Bow instead. With the Wish-Keeper, we'll have the ability to suspend enemies on top of freezing them, giving us a secondary option of stunning unstoppables, and boosting our ability to control each engagement exponentially, since we'll have turrets, cold snap grenades, and suspending traps to catch our enemies in. We're also using the Hatchling's Catalyst refit, which is going to create those tiny little green bastards that I love so much. The Osmiomancy does give us 2 grenade charges, which helps us put up quite a few stasis turrets, but the cold snap grenades are able to generate that grenade energy much quicker. So what I like to do when possible is throw down a turret when an encounter starts. Use the second charge as a cold snap grenade. After it finds and freezes a target, another cold snap seeker will hunt down another enemy, helping us recharge our grenade energy even faster. And by this point, we should have enough grenade energy between our turret and our cold snap that we'll be able to throw down another turret while the first is still up. To cater to our use of the Bleak Watcher turrets and the Osmiomancy, we've chosen the Glacial Harvest aspect. This creates stasis shards for us, which will give us a few different benefits. We'll get 1 shard off of each rank and file enemy that's frozen, and as many as 3 shards off of champions and other high-ranking enemies. And we'll be able to create as many as 6 shards every 10 seconds. With the Whisper of Rhyme fragment, we'll get health and an overshield when collecting these shards. Small shards will provide 5 points of health, with each large shard providing 35 points. And when we're already at full health, these shards will grant a 50-point overshield. This might not seem like a lot of health off of each shard. It has gotten nerfed over the seasons, but it still provides a tremendous level of extra health recovery to keep you alive. Each shard will also provide us with 10% additional melee energy, helping us recharge our Penumbral Blast, a benefit that will be shared with teammates since they'll be able to pick these shards up as well. Along with all the frozen enemies, we plan on making a ton of stasis crystals with this build, which will play right into our use of Whisper of Chains. This grants a 40% damage resistance bonus whenever we're near frozen targets or stasis crystals, so as long as we stay near these, we'll take less damage. We're also using Whisper of Shards, which grants us a 500% bonus to the regeneration rate of our grenades whenever we shatter stasis crystals. And like I said before, we plan on making a lot of these crystals. This bonus lasts 6 seconds, but it can be repeatedly triggered with a maximum timer duration of 11 seconds, greatly improving the uptime of our Cold Snap grenades and our turrets. With class tree elements addressed, let's go ahead and take a look at our seasonal artifact. Since we have a mix of strand and stasis energies, we can make use of several of these mods. With Unraveling Orbs and Horde Shuttle, our strand weapons will get the ability to unravel targets, which causes additional damage, and it permits these weapons to pierce barrier shields. We'll also generate threadlings when we damage unraveled targets, giving us more of those little green rats. With Dragon's Bite, whenever we break an opponent's overshield with either a stasis or a strand weapon, that enemy has a chance of becoming either frozen or suspended. Wearing this season's armor will increase how often this happens, but this will definitely help out towards our ability to keep enemies contained, and it'll give us extra stasis crystals so that we can get our bonus grenade energy and bonus damage resistance. Pillar of Ice will extend our crystal making abilities even further, as this will cause frozen enemies to create stasis crystals whenever they die, and with the use of Hail the Storm, whenever we destroy stasis crystals or shatter frozen enemies, the shattering effects will cause bonus damage. And when stasis crystals are broken, tiny little shards are going to break off and track down nearby enemies, causing extra damage and causing them to become slowed. The combination of these artifact mods are really going to amplify everything that we've got going on with this Hybrid Strand Stasis build, giving us a lot of extra ability regeneration, extra damage resistance, and greatly improved crowd control capabilities. We're also using Wished into Being, so when we are close to having our super, our ability final blows will generate additional orbs, giving us 3 in total. This will get triggered when we're at around 70% on super energy. Sadly, this is not a build that's going to produce a heavy amount of orbs, so we'll take whatever we can get. And with the orb generation in mind, let's talk about our choice in armor mods, and character stats. Most PvE content in Destiny will call for maxed out resilience, and since we are focusing heavily on grenade use, discipline is also going to need to be a focal point when it comes to character stats. When it comes to our armor mods, our plan is pretty simple. We want to help generate our grenades faster. This is why we're using a Strand Siphon mod on our helmet and a Reaper mod on our class item. These will generate orbs that will give us armor charges, and with Grenade Kickstart on our gloves, whenever we throw a grenade, those armor charges will be converted into grenade energy, giving us as much as 33% grenade energy. We've also got an Impact Induction mod on our gloves to give us bonus grenade energy whenever we hit targets with our Penumbral Blast. We've got the Innervation mod on our boots, which is going to give us an extra 10% grenade energy off of each orb. We've got Recuperation also active on our boots, so whenever we collect those orbs, we'll get an instant surge of 70 health points. And with the Elemental Charge mod also equipped on our boots, we can keep armor charges active for Grenade Kickstart to use. When we collect stasis shards or destroy those strand tangles, we have a chance of creating armor charges. On our chest, we're just going with resistance mods, but the Charged Up mod would definitely help towards generating additional grenade energy whenever Grenade Kickstart kicks in. And finally, on our class item, we've thrown on a couple of bomber mods, which is going to give us up to 17% bonus grenade energy whenever we cast our rift near enemies. So between these different armor mods, our artifact mods, and our class tree choices, we should be able to litter every battlefield with a ton of cold snap grenades and turrets. And with an ice-covered battlefield, the Quicksilver Storm or the Wish-Keeper will go absolutely bonkers. We talked about our main exotic weapons already, but what about the legendary weapons that support them? Well, in our secondary slot, we're going with the Indebted Kindness Rocket Sidearm. Sidearms give us the ability to pierce barrier champion shields this season, and with permeability active, we could have the option of an arc or stasis weapon, but with Volt Shot, we can surge our enemies with lightning and stun overload champions. In our heavy slot, we've got a couple of really solid options. We have the freedom of going with Stasis or Strand, but currently we have the Carax's Distress Grenade Launcher because of its ability to come with hatchlings, giving us more threadlings to attack our enemies with. And it also comes with Demolitionist, which is going to help recharge our grenade energy. We could also look at a Strand weapon like the Marcato 45 that has Slice, which would reduce our enemy's damage output by 40%. A really nice benefit when we're already getting a damage resistance bonus. Stasis weapons like the Cold Comfort would be great when they come with Chill Clip, as they would give us more options to stun champions and more stasis crystals. And I really like the new Stasis Vortex sword, the Slammer, which can come with Cold Steel and Chain Reaction. But in the end, our heavy and special weapons are there to support our main weapons of choice, the Quicksilver Storm or the Wish-Keeper. Incredible exotics that continue to amaze, and when combined with this Stasis Warlock, you're getting the ultimate support build, capable of completely containing and shutting down your enemy. And with that said, we've come to an end of today's build video. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this hybrid warlock, the Osmiomancy, and what your early thoughts on Into the Light are. Let us know down in the comments below. If you need help making a copy of today's build, you can find the Destiny Item Manager link in the description below. Thank you as always for checking out today's video. If you enjoyed and found it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. If you're a new Light Guardian just starting your journey, or a battle-hardened veteran just looking for a new home, then be sure to check out the Discord link that's also in the description, and join one of the greatest communities in all of Destiny. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.